it is Jodi Amen here. Welcome to this video on how to open the channels of communication. So how to open up the channels so that you can connect with your higher wisdom or your intuition. That guidance and the messages that is coming for you to help you deal with this life, help you get through this life, help you help other people, help you heal yourself, and so that we can heal the world. So if you wanted to open channels, you really have to see what's closing them. That's more of what we're going to talk about in this video, how to identify where those blocks are so you could release the blocks and let it come on through. So one of the most common ways that we hold back or we're not connected is our physical posture. So there's more than just like, oh, stand up straight. It is hugely about standing up straight, because if you had your neck back and you're kind of thinking like this and your neck is a little bit like, you pinch that area of your neck, but try to release the back of your neck. So like the back part of your head, it's like there's a string being pulled all the way up through your spinal column. And that release in the back of your neck, you could almost feel, because I've been practicing this for so long, I feel the difference so much, and I think you might as well, that you could feel the difference in how there's now a channel back there, how the energy could move instead of getting stuck when you're like this, or if you're, looking down at a screen all the time. Those are ways. Now, other parts of your body, usually we are blocked is because we contract. And that is maybe if we had some pain or we're afraid, a lot of fear, stress, make us contract. If we had pain in our foot and we don't want it, we just don't want it, we want it to go away, there's a contraction that happens. And actually it's counterproductive to what you actually want, the pain to go away. And it like blocks the energy and blocks the breath from flowing. First of all, we don't even have time to get into it in this video, but like we don't breathe into our belly. We breathe up instead of letting our diaphragm come down, and there's so much blocked breath in our abdomen if you're not inhaling and having your belly come out and exhaling and your belly goes in. It's a huge way that we're blocking those channels, because we want that breath to be able to flow just like the energy is able to flow. Of course, the literal breath is just in our lungs, but the energy of the breath is open to all these pathways, and there's a release in a lot of the physical things that we have contraction in that hold on to. Like, have you ever heard your issues are in your tissues? Yes, this is because we hold them. If we let that energy flow, there'd be space between all of our cells or our electrons, and stuff can't get stuck there. And so when there's not that stuff stuck, think about a screen door, and it's really dusty. It's like that time of the year when there's all those things in the air. And if it's really dusty, more stuff sticks. And if it's clean, more air gets through, more stuff sticks and it blocks the air. If it's clean, the air gets through, and that's what you want, to have your body be a screen that's clean and things could flow. Now, emotionally, if we had a lot of stress and we had a lot of emotions, we stay in our lower subtle body. I was talking about this in a couple days ago in my IGG video, so you could look at that. But if you are really stressed, you stay in the body and in the feeling of it. And that's when we get a lot of constriction. And so if we want to pull up to our higher bodies, the world is made up of 6 different bodies, and we want to pull up. We want to get out of that lower subtle body where there's the stress. So there's the gross body where we contract and don't let flow. And then there's the emotional body that has the stress that gets us rolling around in it, rolling around and really worried and trying to survive so that we can't get into higher states of consciousness, because we're in the reptilian brain just in survival mode. It's like You know, when you go through your day and you're just like going from one thing to another, kind of in survival mode, and there's not much consciousness to it. We want to pull ourselves out into the why and get really conscious about our actions. And it takes us out of the stress. It makes us feel empowered instead of disempowered. And it could relieve your subtle body, your lower subtle body, and your physical body of a lot of stress, and open up those pathways and that access to higher states of consciousness. Whew. Okay, so mentally, how do you open those channels mentally? Mentally, you want to quiet that monkey mind, that mind that keeps us trying to look at the list and that stuff. I think though that monkey mind's more connected to the lower emotional body, but there's a lot of this hyper thinking or overthinking that belongs to the upper subtle body that you want to clear. It is the voice of negativity, that voice of negative self-judgment that blocks you from God's voice, or from the voice of your higher power, whatever you call that. You know, all of this stuff that we think is important, all of these anxieties and different things that are trying to take our attention, is keeping us away from that voice of that wisdom that's always accessible to us. And if we quiet that down, we'd get that. We'd open those channels so that comes in. Spiritually, I think I don't have too much coherent thought because there's not much words to put to it. But what I can say is that if you believe you're worthy of it, if you believe that it's accessible, that is the hook that makes it accessible. So that's the block. So this belief that I'm not sure is the biggest thing that blocks us from that intuitive wisdom, or blocks us from that guidance from, you know, higher spirits, guides, God, saints, angels, whatever we might be connecting with to collaborate in this life, to collaborate in our next steps in our healing process and what we need to do and how do we understand something. Those are the beliefs get in the way and block those things on almost every level. And so those are the best tips that I got for you, and how to open the channels on all 4 of those levels that we're talking about today, to really see if we could release some of these blocks. And, you know, in my Develop Your Intuition program, I teach people specifically how to release, and we do exercises and practices, how to kind of declutter all these different areas of your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, how to heal some things from the past. It's a healing program. So we do healing because we're humans. You know, even though we're here, most of us are here to help other people and make a difference in the world and contribute. And yes, we want to learn how to do that and kind of up-level our business and our abilities. But also, why not heal you at the same time? Because then you'll learn how to do it for your clients and your families and your students and your friends. So that's what I have for you. I really want you to join this group because I feel like it's I know you hate to call anything a panacea because then it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. But we're going to go specifically what you need. That's why I'm different than all other like coaches and therapists and everything. It's like they give you a ham sandwich or like, this is whatever needs. Because they're still in the way of what they needed. How many times you go to a coach and they're like, oh yeah, but you know it's not you? Do you ever have your intuition is like, they're not talking about me? Or you could have a friend do that. And that's their paradigm from what their lessons were. And they haven't graduated to be able to get into your matrix and understand your paradigm and what the issues are in your paradigm so they could really help you at that very personal level. And that's what I do for people. So we're going to do that in a group setting. So it's a 12-week program that we're going to really go deep and up-level your spiritual gifts so you could deliver them with such robust bandwidth and such joy in your own personal life so that you could really be the model that they need. So I hope that you are like, yes, 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 I want to spend that time with Jodi. I really want to up-level my life. And then you want to join me at jodieheumann.com/intuition, jodieheumann.com/intuition. And we're gonna get it. we're going to get it. All right. I'll see you again soon. And until then, be present and let that you want to be shine through.